rise of the Empire is inevitable.
Welcome back to the Cinema Club. It is your host, Christopher Amick, and we are back diving into Ahsoka Episode 6. For those new to the Cinema Club is like a book club, but for movies, every episode, Nick Leach or myself invite one member of the Cinema Club to be a co-host for the episode who will choose the movie or television series. Really happy to have both Mark and Adam here tonight. Had you guys both on for the Dread and the Raid film discussion, and that was great. Super excited to have you both on tonight to jump into Ahsoka Episode 6. I did want to ask you, Adam, we're 6 episodes into the show. Is it meeting our expectations? Are you overall enjoying the show?
I think out of all the Star Wars shows, admittedly, I think I had the highest expectation for this one. So it had a little bit of a handicap in that sense. When I view any form of media, I feel like your expectations really dictate how you perceive it. So I feel like by very high expectations, if it doesn't meet that expectations, anything under that kind of feels really bad, even if it's really good. I guess at the end of the day, all I'm trying to say is it has exceeded expectations, even though they were very high. And yeah, I am admittedly very anxious that it sticks the landing.
Yeah.
But I am going to watch it. That's for sure.
I love it. And as anyone knows that's been listening so far, with Mark and I's coverage, we're both really enjoying Ahsoka so far. And this has been honestly one of my favorite Star Wars Disney Plus shows. Like I said, hopefully it lands its finale. And yeah, any other thoughts by chance before we jump into it, Mark?
This episode in particular, if you just wanted to record me just making happy squee noises for an hour straight, that basically covers how I feel about this episode. The fighting in previous episodes, a lot of people are saying number 5 is the best episode ever. And I'm like, they're not wrong, but dang, look at what 6 has. I just think the show overall is everything I wanted, and I didn't even know I wanted it.
That's how I've been feeling as well. But yeah, let's jump into the episode. So starting off, while traveling with the Purrgil, Ahsoka and Yang discuss Ren's choice in siding with the enemy to find Ezra. In the meantime, the Eye of Sion arrives at Perida, the ancient homeworld of Elsbeth people. The Dathomiri, Elsbeth, Balin, Hady, and Ren meet the Great Mothers, a group of Night Sisters allied with Thrawn. As they wait for the Grand Admiral's arrival, Balin relates to Hady his belief that the fall of the Jedi and the rise of the Empire were part of an inevitable cycle, one he intends to break.
Which, considering we have episode 7, 8, and 9, obviously he did not break it.
You don't think so? Whoa, spoiler alert.
I'm just saying, he wants to break it, and he talks to Hady a little bit about his motivations later, but you can't break great cycles. Empires rise, empires fall, horrible things happen.
I don't know why. I remember when I first heard that line, I was just like, how arrogant of him to believe he can break the cycle.
I do like his perspective on it, though.
I think his intentions are actually good.
Yes.
Yes.
I just remember that being my initial thought. I was like, how arrogant of him to believe he's the one to break the cycle. If he can, sick.
Pride is one of the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah.
Balin can be pride. Vader can be wrath. Sidious can just be backstabbing.
But with that said, he's definitely one of my favorite characters.
Mark and I have waxed on about how much we love Balin's character and Hady's character as well. It's definitely, for me personally, the most interesting dynamic in the series.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did love when he's talking about this all with Hady, or is it Hati? I don't know. When he's talking with his apprentice.
Shen. There you go, Shen.
Yeah, I can call her Shen. Thank you. When he's talking to Shin, I love the whole set that they're on with the gray landscape and the gray skies. And it just ties in so nice with Shin's silver armor and Balin's black robes. And visually, I thought that was just so great.
Yeah.
Loved it.
I have an opinion on the first half visually of the episode and the second half of the episode. The first half is Dune. Okay. The little triangle ship that they come down, which is one of the coolest ships I've seen in a while from the old Dune movie. It is almost a perfect region of that one.
Or do you
The
think
giant,
it's like,
huge faces.
was it? I'm actually super curious.
Yeah.
Was it almost like a shot by shot recreation of that?
No, but did you see Chronicles of Riddick second?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all those giant skulls and the way the Necromongers' cities and spaceships looked and stuff like that,
Mhm.
that was taken from Dune and a lot of the art that was made for the Dune series and was also in the first movie and a little bit in the second, right? Second movie is brilliant, by the way. Can't wait for the second half of it. But
Oh yeah.
this one very much felt like they were taking those cues for the first half because you have the screaming Night Sister statues, you have the buildings, you have all those things. And it just, to me, it felt very Dune, very Warhammer 40,000, very Chronicles of Riddick for the first half of the episode. After that, it felt like Middle Earth.
It did.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. I wanted to ask you, Mark, have we seen that model of that little golden ship before? Or is that the first time we're seeing that?
I think we have seen it in background, but not as prominently, never inside. Because I know there's been a shot or two where, what was the previous planet with the beautiful red trees? There were a couple times we'd see a shuttle lifting off, and I think it was that shuttle, but we've never seen it this clearly.
Okay. Yeah, because I hadn't remembered seeing it before, but I was like, oh, that's such a cool looking ship. I got to ask Mark about
Yeah.
that.
But those fighters in episode 3 were new as well.
Yes.
So we're seeing new ships that you haven't seen in previous episodes. And the background, when the Chimera finally shows up, TIE fighters and more ships in the background. And I cannot remember the name of those ships, but I know that there's miniatures for them in the X-Wing miniatures game. I can picture them in my head. So they're actually tossing in a bunch of stuff that's not traditional Star Wars. And I like it because Star Wars, it's a galaxy, right? Everybody doesn't fly X-Wings. Everybody doesn't fly TIE fighters. I like seeing things that are different. I love my X-Wings. I love my TIE fighters. I want them, but we can have more.
It's like an expansion of the overall universe.
Yeah. Heck, having the E-Wings in that first episode, never been on screen before. In Rebels, they had the TIE Defenders. Outstanding. Loved them. Happy to see these things finally showing up on screen at all.
Yeah.
The planet was
Cetos. Yeah.
Mark and I
Cetos.
waxed on about how much we love that planet.
Oh, that place is gorgeous. This place is gorgeous too. I mean, it's very desolate. You don't see any trees. But if you told me that they'd filmed it in New Zealand, I would not be surprised in the least, because that's why it looks like Middle Earth to me, is it looks like Middle Earth, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, the first half of the episode is definitely, like I said, that dune, that big, heavy structures. It's gorgeous. The CGI again in this part is just gorgeous. Now, when the Chimera shows up, it looks like it's been chewed on, right? That ship is missing chunks. You can see armor plates been welded on. What engines aren't working on it? Can you imagine the story of what they've done in the last 5-10 years? I want to know the story. I don't need everything spelled out for me, but dude, what adventures did they go on in that ship?
Yeah, I've seen some shit.
Great that you can have just a shot, the slow pan of the ship coming in and docking, and you're just fascinated by the story that you're never going to hear, you're never going to see, but now you want to know. That's awesome. That's good work.
Definitely. And speaking of ships, I really liked the initial ship's exit from hyperspace that we got. And then instantly we see the whole ring of the planet is made of the whalebone graveyard that we then fly over. So those kind of things were like, whoa, I'm instantly intrigued about this new planet. But yeah, like you were saying, it does definitely have from other inspired fantasy realms.
In a good way.
Yes, a good way.
The stormtroopers, when we see them, oh,
That was a good little reveal there. Yeah.
one of my friends, they called them Kintsugi troopers because all their armor's broke and it's all been repaired and they have the tape looking like it's holding their kits together. I'm a big Star Wars and Stormtrooper and Clone Trooper fan. Dude, these are gorgeous. I can't wait to see these at cons.
We should clarify too that we're referring to is the Japanese technique where they fix pottery by infusing it with gold. And it reminded me a little bit of how they fixed Kylo's helmet as well. It wasn't with gold with Kylo's helmet, but it reminded me of how they went about doing this.
Captain Enoch, that's the first time we've ever seen that style of helmet. We're pulling in some heavy Roman or movie Gladiator, like the final the boss fight he had. Yeah. Okay. Or also like the 300 with the Persian Immortals. They had those same masks as well, but they were silver.
Yeah.
This is not a standard Stormtrooper helmet. It's not a Shore Trooper helmet. This is something completely new on that guy. And quick shout out, Wes Chatham is the guy underneath it. He played Amos in The Expanse. My favorite character. The guy's amazing. Yeah, I want to know more again. Here's a character I'm looking at. I'm like, I want to know more about this character. He's gorgeous kit.
When I was
Absolutely
watching,
gorgeous.
I was like, oh, Mark's gonna.
Oh,
Mark's gonna
anytime you
dig
want me
this
to
one.
shut up about the costumes, let me know. Because, dude, I've got something for every scene. Just wow.
Yeah.
Oh, the Dark Mothers. One of them
yeah.
is Claudia Black, who has been in Farscape, Stargate, a couple other small TV shows.
Oh, wow.
So it's really nice to see they're grabbing people from all over the place for these characters, and they're doing a great job on the casting as well. I don't think we've talked about that at all, but the casting's outstanding.
I didn't recognize her underneath all that makeup. Be transparent with you.
There's 3 of them. I think she's the one in the middle, if I'm looking at the picture correctly.
Okay.
Yeah. And Lars Mikkelsen. Oh, God, he looked gorgeous too. Seriously. And I believe he's the voice actor, so obviously
Yes.
it sounds right. Oh,
Mhm.
man. Again, everything I want right there.
And speaking of costuming, not to keep bringing it back to this subject, but seeing the witches in live action and
Yes.
seeing their garments in live action, they looked incredible. Because we've only really seen that in the animated form. So they were really intimidating in live action. I was all about it. I loved it.
Again, I cannot wait to see all of these costumes at cons. They're going to be amazing. They're going to be gorgeous. I'm excited.
Because it could have been hokey looking, honestly. And they nailed it.
The first half, the first third, however you want to put it, visually, it's again stunning. The special effects are outstanding. The costumes are amazing. I had a hard time telling which were CGI stormtroopers and which were real ones. Outstanding work. The ships are gorgeous. The planet is gorgeous. Everything at this point visually is just amazing. And then you start seeing betrayal. Is Balin going to betray people? Is Balin's got his own shtick going on?
He definitely a betrayal. He's a good guy.
I don't know. I might be with Mark on this.
First-
First time I was like, wait, because my main concern was that they were going to make Shin do a turnaround. But as we've moved through the series, I've been like, nah, she's pretty dark.
Fast.
But in this episode, some of the things that Balin was talking about, I was like, he really is a gray character in this show.
I'm not going to lie. I can't remember the lines verbatim. There was definitely a couple lines. This is definitely an emotional thing. I'm trying to hold hope that he actually will have some type of redemption arc towards the end.
You're hoping for it.
Yes.
All
But
right.
there was, I will admit, in this particular episode, there was a few lines he said, I was like, I don't know if we're getting a redemption arc. If we just say lines like that. I am tentatively holding hope, but admittedly, there were some lines that made me feel like those chances went down significantly.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I definitely think, outside of a I think he's my favorite
Yes.
character in the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's my top favorite, honestly. I think his character is so intriguing.
Yeah.
And it was cool getting to hear a little bit more about his story / thought process on things in this episode.
Every time he talks, and it's a credit to both the actor and the dialogue, I've always been super engaged.
I also like the idea that he seemed very oddly obedient a lot of the episodes up
Yeah.
to this point, right? Hey, your boss is telling your apprentice to go do stuff. That's not cool, but he's go do it. It's okay. You know, who's my supervisor? Who's my boss? All right. But here we find out that he hitched a ride for a reason. He's there for a reason. And it's not just the money. He's there for something. And it's great to see. He's got a plan.
It did make me hope that maybe someday down the road we'll get to see some kind of younger version of Balin and get to explore his story.
Even if it was just a couple episodes of Clone Wars, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Because we know he was a
100%.
general. You know, the visions, just all those little snippet
Yeah.
visions, the 15-minute little episodes that are canon. I would love something on him. So Ahsoka gets a ride. They let her go. They hand the same guns and lightsaber and tell her, good luck, have fun, go for it. And then Enoch says, die well. And I'm like, that's the most Klingon line I've ever heard out of Star Wars. Die with honor. Okay, cool.
I loved it.
She's warned about the bandits. She goes out. She's ambushed by bandits. This is where we start getting that Middle Earth feel I was talking about.
yeah.
And you've got, I know it's cultural bias. I absolutely know it. Man, you got Japanese bandits running around. They look straight up to me like Japanese bandits from medieval Japan. I'm sure there's more than that just in there, but the costumes, the way their hip armor is, the way they move.
I can definitely see it in the
feels-
costume.
Yeah. That long red helmet the leader had feels very Japanese. She's ambushed. Dude, the dog. I want the dog now. That little bit of comedy with her walking away and being mad at the dog.
Oh my
I'm just like,
God.
oh, my heart. I want one.
My heart melts. Like, 3 times. I remember when she told him to go and he got off screen. I was like, turn around. Oh, man.
I think
Yeah.
we're also seeing a little bit of Sabine and her trauma of
Yeah.
being left or abandoned or let down.
Yeah.
Because I was like, man, she's abusing this animal at this point. What is he supposed to do? He doesn't got a lightsaber. And then, oh yeah, she got shot 18 times. But that armor, hey, good stuff. Nobody can do headshots in this show.
Good old
Actually,
plot armor.
It's a plot armor, right? Character shields. That's actually something I think is interesting because in the Mando, right, he's got the hard plates, but there's those little squishy pieces in between. I wonder if Beskar armor actually attracts the plasma bolts because when somebody's shooting at you with a machine gun and they're all hitting the same chest piece, come on. I know how to shoot. I'm not an amazing shot, but I know how to shoot. Even I can't hit the same spot that many times in a row.
No, that would, in a plot sense, make sense.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that.
Because
Also-
we have our people in Beskar just shot to pieces and surviving as long as it hits the armor, and it always hits the armor. Yeah, it's plot armor, but
Yeah, it just attracts it. So when it, no matter the shot, if it gets close, boom. That's just what happened.
yeah,
Yeah, I
Why
like
not?
that.
it's a magnetic field thing. Because that's why lightsabers can bounce off the blaster bolts because it's two magnetic fields interacting with each other. And we've seen consistently, except for somebody losing their head in episode 2, that the Beskar armor can stop a lightsaber. So let's go with that.
Yeah, I'm sticking to it.
Thrawn arrives and he honors Balin's promise. As you're hinting at, after Ren leaves, he orders Balin and Haiti to follow her. We talked about how she survives the bandits, and then Ren encounters the native Noti and follows them to their village where she reunites with Bridger. I really liked Thrawn's look. I was really hoping we were going to get him in this episode. I loved the whole entrance with him walking through the troopers. We already talked about how the voice actor is returning to play that character, which I loved. I thought Lars Mikkelsen absolutely nailed the portrayal of the character.
I am totally behind here, and this is totally obvious. I just looked this up 10 seconds ago. I was not aware, and it's so obvious that he is brothers with Mads Mikkelsen.
Yes.
Just found that out. That's blowing my mind. Sorry. No, you're good.
No,
I mean, they're
that's
both
okay.
great actors. I mean,
Yeah, but this is already in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And while going back to Star Trek, because why not? They will be able to reuse an actor like 5 different times. Oh, look, they're an Andorian. Look, they're a Klingon. Look, they're a human. You don't see that in Star Wars.
No.
You might see somebody in helmet, Boba Fett, and you see him out of helmet, Boba Fett. Like the actor who played the original Boba Fett, he's also an Imperial officer. But that's the extent of it. You never see it outside of that, to my knowledge.
For the most part, I think
Yeah.
they want to keep one actor per, if they can.
And they keep getting good actors.
Jeez.
They
Yeah, I was
really do.
actually just decided to look at the whole cast, and I was like, yikes, this is just awesome. I don't know. It's just so crazy how many great actors. It makes sense, though. Star Wars has grown itself as a license over the last decade, and everyone wants to be a part of it.
What'd you guys think about Ezra? I know the first thought that came to my mind was Mark is so happy he's in a different outfit.
Because I hated his old outfit. Actually, I'm going to go off on a mild rant about the Nati. So are we just going to ignore the fact that they're hobbit crabs?
I thought they were
Nope.
Ewoks, the way they talked.
Oh,
love
don't
that
you
too.
say that word.
First,
This is what a shaved Ewok looks like. Oh,
dude, that would be so crazy. Oh, man.
the one she found was wearing a waistcoat. Okay. And if you've watched the Amazon, look,
Yeah.
you see the hobbits running around and they have little bushes so they hide underneath them. And I'm looking at this and I'm cracking up. I'm like, not only is it Middle Earth, but we've got hermit crab people. Why not? But they look great. Costumes look great. The physical props look just like the Loth cats looked absolutely amazing, right? And here's where we get the one CGI I've got issues with. There's a scene when he's moving around, the little guy, and Sabine's right there, and his hand's moving, and you can see that it's a CGI'd character put in. And
I think I actually remember the moment you're talking about. I agree.
if it was a normal sci-fi TV show, I wouldn't have even noticed it. But the
Yeah.
bar's been so bloody high with what they've done,
I can-
stuck out like
yeah.
a thumb. It's not fair for me to go like, oh, that's awful, because I never would have noticed it in another show.
It's just the fact that the quality is at such a high bar, and once it drops,
Took you out of it for a second.
Yeah.
And that's what you get when you set such a high bar. You got to be consistent. Otherwise, you have any dips, they are a lot more noticeable. That one's hard because I'm almost certain the visual effects team is like worked to the bone and they're
And
trying their best.
everything else they've done has been outstandingly stellar.
Oh,
So it's weird to finally find a thing.
yeah.
The Howlers look great. When the Naughty were moving around their little village, God, they were adorable. They were great. It was just that one scene, and it was so glaring that I went, no, really? And I rewound it. My wife's, what are you doing? I'm like, stop. Can we just watch the show? No, let me see this. But yeah, it was just jarring. But other than that, beautiful, gorgeous. The little town's adorable. Ezra Bridger wearing lamellar armor underneath his shirt, which is a style of armor that was popularized in the Far East and Middle East from, I want to say, the Hittite Empire on. So it's been around forever. So it was good, really good to see another non-European armor and costume style showing up inside the episodes. It makes me very happy.
No, that's cool. Thanks for sharing that, Mark.
Have a source where I can buy the plastic plates. I'm going to go ahead and make some lamellar armor for my Sith because now it's in universe. I can do this. So yeah,
that's awesome.
I definitely did feel, as you're saying, Mark, this felt a little bit more Middle Earth-esque. It felt very whimsical and full of wonder, I guess is how I would describe it. But I felt like I was a little kid watching Star Wars for the first time all over again in this episode because it was a planet that was very different than a lot of others we've seen. A lot of creatures that are very different. And visually, I thought it was amazing. I loved it.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And it was nice to have a break. It can't be gloom and doom and death all the time.
You sure? I'm a big fan of that.
Okay, yeah, Dread and Redemption. We're on the same page here, but it is nice to have a little bit of comedy, especially, again, the dog, right? The Howler running back and forth.
That was a peaceful moment. I was legitimately freaking out the whole time.
The little baby Noti with the giant, huge eyes. I thought it was a frog at first, right? That was cute. It was
I know. I was like, how do his eyes get smaller as it? I had that thought process. I was like, wait, it's cute. What the hell? How does this grow but shrink?
Apparently, they're like kittens and puppies where they look like that when they start off. That way you don't kill them.
Maybe they just grow into their eyes.
They grow into their eyes. Yeah, they're adorable little hobbit crab people. It's nice. It was different. It's a nice change of pace. It wasn't an Ewok.
They sounded like Ewoks, though, to me, man.
Oh, God. I'm sure they'll sell a lot of merch.
Oh, yes. I was going to ask you two about this because Sabine as a character has been rubbing me the wrong way a little bit. When she actually finds Ezra, he's like, I'm so excited to go home. She's let's talk about this later. I just want to be happy with my friend for a minute. And I get it. She doesn't want to ruin his sacrifice. She's scared to tell him. But I was like, bro, really?
Yeah, this is something I struggled with because that specific decision of not just immediately trying to figure out what to do next and just trying to enjoy the moment. I was like, yeah, that as an audience member frustrates me so much. But I've been juggling back and forth. But I actually haven't came to a decision. I was like, in character, given how much this has been built up, can I imagine a world where she decides to hold it off and it makes sense? And I was like, yeah, but man, it makes me so mad. So I don't know.
Because if Ahsoka didn't come in the next episode, they're stuck there forever. And she's like, let's make some soup or something and talk about this later.
So I guess that's what I was trying to, given her perspective, and I think she might have a hopeless perspective. I think she's just trying to enjoy the moment and then tell them, hey, actually, we're stuck here. Sorry. But we enjoyed a couple of awesome days. Wasn't that cool? I feel like that's where she's coming from right now. She's in a very hopeless perspective and doesn't want to acknowledge that yet. But yeah, I don't know. I remember losing my mind when the initial thing happened.
I was a little disappointed there wasn't the kiss. I was fully expecting there to be the kiss. I expected, I was like, okay, I'm a little surprised they didn't do it. It'll be next episode, right?
Yeah.
The Tutis were expecting it too. They're going off in the background.
Yeah. Oh my God, he's going to get lucky. No. Lame. It is and it isn't what I expect from her. Like I knew as soon as she handed over the map that she wasn't making logical decisions. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
She was living in his house and she never even cleaned up his house. She's been on pause since whatever happened on Mandalore that she missed and she left. So she obviously has not been mentally healthy. She's not been in a good place for a very long time. And we make not good choices. You're too young. You probably haven't. Adam, I don't know what you've done. I've been an idiot, right? I lived past 25. I'm at 30 going, now what do I do? I had a plan till 25. It was great. We make these choices. We're not in good places. We make bad choices. Has she lied to him? Not yet. I think that's going to be the unforgivable. Hey, no, it's cool. We're fine. But if she tells him what happens, I'm going to be okay with her.
I think she will.
Hope so.
I think she's just having an issue with acknowledging that right now because she's had this like moment of joy and she doesn't want to ruin it. And she's trying to ride that wave for as long as she can. But I think next episode, she's going to have to come back to reality.
I wonder if she actually thought he was still alive. She hoped. And if Ron had survived, then most likely Ezra would have survived. But the two of them could have killed each other the first 5 minutes they got where they were going. They could have killed each other on the way, right? She made the choice she had to make because she is who she is and she's the sum of her trauma and experiences. But I think she's just thrilled that she wasn't wrong.
I like that perspective, Mark. I think it's a less jaded one than mine. So appreciate that.
Oh, no, I think she fucked up badly. But I'm trying to put a positive spin on a character I like. Again, I'm a fanboy this entire damn series. I'm just so squee happy. It's dumb.
No, I hear you. I'm enjoying the series. I just thought her character is disappointing me in some regards. And we still got 2 episodes. I'm sure they'll figure it out. But
I almost think that's a testament to potentially how good the character is, maybe. I don't know. I feel like if a character makes decisions, I guess there's a fine line there because you think you can just be like, a character can just make illogical decisions consistently through and then lose favor with the character. But I would say pretty confidently, all of her decisions, although hurts my head, makes me so mad, it makes sense why she makes that said decision. Like there's motive there, right?
it's consistency.
Yeah. And even though it makes me want to throw my head into a wall, I think that's really a testament to the story and how invested I am to the result of what's happening. And it's like, why are you ruining this for me? What are you doing? I don't know. At least that's where I'm coming from whenever she makes her decisions that I'm not fond of.
I like that, though.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Talking about how Ahsoka feels, there we go, right? She didn't make the right choice. And Wayne says she made the only choice she could, right? It's really scary when the robot has better insight into emotions than the person does. And Ahsoka's very disappointed, but she went for Sabine's help because Sabine is motivated to rescue Ezra. You can't be upset when the person who's helping you because they're motivated to rescue Ezra goes off to rescue Ezra.
Yes, sir.
After you die. Okay.
For all intents and purposes, it looks like she dies. It makes sense.
And then just to harp on the Lord of the Rings a little bit more. So Ahsoka goes and becomes Ahsoka the White. And now we're in Middle Earth. I'm sorry. It's cracking me up how she totally gapped on that.
Let me jump into the last of the synopsis. So while tracking Ren, Balin senses that there is greater power on Perida and tells Haiti that she intends to find and use it. The Great Mothers warn Thrawn that a Jedi is coming with the Purrgil. Deducing that Ahsoka is alive, Thrawn demands all the details of her history from Elsbeth and asks the Great Mothers to aid him in prepping for her arrival. I did want to take a moment here and just share that the Cinema Club podcast is 100% supported by you, our listeners. If you are enjoying the show, and if you are wanting to support the show and continue to help it grow, please consider clicking the support button on our website. You can check that out at podcasters.spotify.com/pod/show/cinema club.
So going into the Thrawn novels, the 3 that came out fairly recently, they're considered canon versus the old ones with the cloned Luke that was Luke for a name. Thrawn worked with Anakin Skywalker. Thrawn worked with Darth Vader. Thrawn had figured out they were one and the same. And Thrawn was smart enough not to say a goddamn thing. Okay. I only read the first 2 books. I haven't read the third. I really need to at some point. But Thrawn's going to be a very interesting person because he knows Anakin and he worked closely with him in all of his aspects. I'm a little annoyed that I think it's going to be a little bit like Balin in the Ahsoka fight where he's going to be talking smack. Thrawn, with all of his knowledge, with the way he looks at people, with the way he analyzes people, I can't wait to see the two of them just
Oh my God.
knocking heads against each other because
Yeah.
I think the Thrawn and Ahsoka interactions are going to be great.
It's 8 episodes, correct?
Yeah, I thought it was only 6. I was so happy I was wrong.
Do you think we're going to get 2 episodes, or do you think we're going to tease at the end of next episode and then the last episode be the bulk of it? Do you think we're going to get 2 episodes of them on some substantial interactions? Because I'm not going to lie, I can't wait for it either.
If I were to predict, I would say next episode is going to be Sabine and Ezra shenanigans against Balin and Ati.
Yeah,
And I
they did
expect,
set that up.
yeah, because we know there's going to be a raid on the village. And they're going to have to save the villagers from
Oh
the
my
bandit.
gosh. By the way, that was like one of my first thoughts when I saw the village. I was like, oh my
They're all
God.
going to die.
Yeah. I was like, oh no. I hate
keep
how
looking at
horrible
this.
they are. Once I saw the whole village, I was like, oh no, they're definitely all gonna die. So hoping I'm wrong. I'm so hoping there's just like
I
a
think
big
we all
party or
are.
something. They come and they have a giant tea party and everyone's happy and then they all go against the bad guy.
Yeah.
That's not gonna happen.
So I think that'll be most of the next episode is that with Ahsoka and Wang showing up and the whale getting shot out from under them
I think they're gonna do something epic with that visually. I hope
Yeah.
so.
because the Star Destroyer's down in orbit. The Eye of Scion's up there. The Eye of Scion's got guns, but not enough to stop an entire herd of space
And I would
whales.
think I actually don't remember. Is the ship, are they in the whale?
Yeah.
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 So realistically, if they just see a herd of whales, they probably won't even mind them.
Oh, no, they're going to shoot them. After that order,
Yeah.
if you see any whales show up, kill them.
That's so many whales.
It's the Empire. They're evil. They do well.
I'm not prepared for that scene. I'm not
It's-
prepared. Actually, oh no, that one's gonna hurt.
That's what I think that episode is going to be.
You think it's gonna cap off with her
Yeah.
arrival? Oof.
That's me being a pessimist. I want more, but that's what I think we're going to get.
And then that final episode, we're gonna get the meat of it.
Yeah.
Okay, I can
Maybe
do
the
that
sh-
too.
Maybe the ship will get shot down and she's dragged in chains to him at the end of episode 7, something.
Oh yeah,
But it's not going to be.
we gotta
that-
have our protagonist in turmoil leading
Yeah.
into the finale. Obviously, no, I can get down with that. Well,
Now, my question is, we have yet to see any outside of their armor on the Chimera except for the Grand Admiral. One of my peoples asked me today if I thought that all of the stormtroopers were ghosts, like was
I think they're resurrected.
they're undead,
oh,
Yeah. They're little zombie troopers.
because you
That's-
don't use stormtroopers to load caskets onto a Star Destroyer. You use the mooks.
I think that's actually highly likely now. I think, yeah, I just on first listening, I kind of like that.
That's a cool concept if they end up doing it.
What was the man? His name eludes me.
The Inquisitor Mardok.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah.
That would be a good intro to the concept, and then that concept on a bigger scale.
We've already had one of those from the Visions. Ahsoka beats one up post Clone Wars.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
It was the one with the really cool crow mask. I'm like, that's a cool costume. I got to do. And he died like a chump. Yeah. So many costumes don't happen because the bad guys died poorly. But yeah, so we've already had that a little bit. But yeah, here we've seen it at a small scale. Here we see it on a big scale. That's possible. The living crew may be so stuffed far inside the ship that they're in absolutely no danger for good reasons because that's all he's got.
Yeah, I definitely had that thought that they're potentially resurrected soldiers, which would definitely be interesting. We
Yeah.
haven't seen that before, at least on this scale.
Not on that scale.
Yeah. I am also very excited for when Thrawn eventually does get out there, because he's then going to be confronted by the New Republic sitting out there waiting for him to get back. And he's going to just do his thing because he's so freaking smart, and it's going to be awesome. And I cannot wait for it.
I don't think he's going to be making it back to the main galaxy.
No?
I don't.
No,
I
no,
don't.
I don't think so either.
Really?
By the end of this
Oh.
episode.
Yeah.
But if he does, one thing that I think that's been alluded to that's really horrifying potentially is like a way to cap it off. So this might be like a bigger operation. And I'm afraid he can come back to the proper galaxy and there's a bunch of loyalists within and there's a big, almost like uprising of sorts to cap off the season. I could see that given what's been alluded to in prior episodes. My gut feeling makes me think we're staying where we're at and we're ending it by that and see. Actually, has this been greenlit for season 2?
Haven't heard anything.
Oh, no. Okay. I don't know. So that makes me think you want to put your best foot forward. And I think ending on the cliffhanger of all is lost might be good because, come on, we need some resolution here. Give us several hundred more millions of dollars to make another season, please.
Apparently, according to at least one part on the internet, it's already in the works.
Oh, okay.
As of 13 hours ago.
Like an article?
Oh, 13 hours ago. Okay.
Yeah. Or a Hollywood, Inside the Magic.
Oh, they're all saying that, though.
Yeah, they're all saying that.
Okay.
That makes me think, though, still, when they wrote this, they didn't know that they were getting a second season. So I feel like they're going to try and end with a bang with the thought that, like, we're forcing the hand of getting a second season.
Gotcha.
If you're a writer, that's definitely what you would like to go for.
I've been thinking he's coming back this whole time.
Like by end of the season?
Yeah, I've been thinking, oh yeah, by the end of this season, he will be back.
I could see he'll be back as the final scene of...
Right, like the ship shows up and there's the fleet, right? Or the ship shows up and there's nothing there. But that last 1 minute of the episode would be that shot. Oh yeah, totally. I can see that.
This is super interesting. That's why it's so cool to have different perspectives, because you guys are viewing it completely different than I am in this regard.
So one of the things I mentioned last podcast, Adam, was that we're also seeing the formation of the resistance because the military can't do things. The military keeps getting shut down, and we know there's loyalists. And Bon Mothma even has an expression when somebody says this, they're like, there's former imperial loyalists all through the government, and it's working fine. So I think we're seeing in this show a lot of things happening. We're obviously seeing the First Order, but we've been getting that in Man, right? But I think this specifically, we're seeing the rise of the resistance. And I'm here for that.
Oh yeah, I'm here for it. Because like this, give me more of this. This is a great episode for the villains. Honestly, we got the witches. We got.
Wait, they're the bad guys?
I hope so.
No, that's too cool.
Overall, like my favorite aspect of these 6 episodes has been just doing a little bit of additional world building.
Oh yeah.
And when you have a world as big as Star Wars, I think that's actually really difficult to do and still please people. But I think it's done a good job adding new stuff, well, doing it in like a responsible and smart way and cool way. And that's difficult because Star Wars fans are hard to please.
That's actually a really good point because it's referenced very heavily, especially in this episode, that the Jedi came from this galaxy. We have stories of the other galaxy. It's not just a legend. They're old stories, but people came from here. And obviously the Night Sisters came from there. It's possible that we're going to have an entire new Star Wars universe to go play in that is separate from the canon universe from episodes 1 through 9.
And given the massive property that Star Wars is, I wouldn't be surprised if this is literally to build upon a story that they've already have in the pipeline.
Brand new playground. Can do anything they want.
Yep.
My assumption is if Balin survives the episode, he will be stranded doing his own thing on this new galaxy.
I think that may be his plan.
That's my prediction. The other one is I honestly think when Haiti and Ezra run into each other, it's going to be like mad, awkward hotness for each other. Bean's going to be pissed off. That's what I'm going for here. I got to say, they have an amazing cast. We've all said this before. It's an amazing cast. The costumes are amazing. The acting is amazing. The story is amazing. Total squee fanboy.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. I liked Andor. I liked The Mandalorian. This is better.
I agree.
Yeah, this and Andor are my favorite shows that we've seen on Disney Plus for Star Wars universe stuff. I wanted to mention too, going back to Thrawn, I just felt like he embodied the character so well. Like his facial expressions, his flow of thoughts, and his intentions are complex to read when it comes to his next steps. And in pretty much one episode, he set up Balin, Shin, Ezra, and Sabine to destroy and strand each other there while he takes off and does his own thing. Which I was like, boom, perfect example of his character.
Yeah. So Lars Mikkelsen was the voice actor. So it's amazing they were able to get him. But that explains why the delivery is so amazingly perfect because it's him.
It's like Rebels season 5, basically, at this point.
How many times have I watched the ending of season 2 where Ahsoka fights Vader of
Ooh.
Rebels? Oh, so happy.
Just stick this landing. I think I have PTSD from shows like Dexter, where I've been so engaged. And Game of Thrones, I've had so many favorite shows just drop me on my face. And I just want this to not happen. That's all I want. Just please
That
stick
is
the landing.
That is so needy. Please don't GOT me, man. The mix don't got me. That's all I want. Man,
Please.
I agree with you 100%. Disney, please don't fuck this up.
We're riding high.
We're
Please.
riding high.
Just need to keep coasting that high to the finish line.
It feels so much worse. You have a great show just fall on its face. I feel like the conclusion can really put the lasting taste in your mouth of how you felt about the show.
But even if this bombs, and I'm going to be completely honest, I don't think it will. But even if it bombs, the lightsaber fight in 4 and 5,
So yeah.
I know that my choreography group were already watching it and double checking it. We're looking at German woodcuts to figure out the moves they used so we can recreate it for a choreography show, right? They've done things in this series that they haven't done before, and I really appreciate it. I've ranted, I don't know how much about the choreography team just being the most amazing people ever, being able to combine 5 different fighting styles on one screen.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and it makes me happy. But man, they'd have to bonk it so bad.
That's what I don't want to happen. Don't bonk it so bad that it ruins the show for me because I'll cry.
No matter what, now if it's bad, you got to come on the podcast just so I can watch you just cry. Okay, I'm going to require this.
Will happen.
Oh,
I feel they've set it up and they have 2 episodes to wrap things up, at least in an okay space. So hopefully we'll get that as an audience.
Yeah, I have high hopes. I don't have as high expectations as you do, but man, I'm just excited. Great costumes, lightsabers, explosions. Yay.
I think at this point, it would be difficult. I'm just saying I have been burned so many times with really nice production, nice writing, and just something goes awry. And then what just happened? I have a lot of faith given that it was already renewed for a second season, because I feel like the people making that decision knows how the season's going to wrap and how to feel comfortable renewing the show. I think they have a good idea of how people will perceive the ending, and I'm having a lot of faith in them. But I would like to think that we're going to, at the very least, have a pretty solid ending.
Yeah.
A like superb ending. If it's too good, I would probably still cry anyway. So we'll see.
I don't think Filoni will fuck us over, just to put it bluntly. I can't see any of the stuff that he's done in the last 10 years. The last half season of Clone Wars where we had Yoda doing whatever the heck he was doing, that was a little weird. That was a little disappointing. But then I saw how much stuff they cut from the season and I understood, right?
Yeah.
They basically took what they could and squished what they could together. Have there been individual episodes of Clone Wars and Rebels that I'm not so thrilled about? Yeah. Was Resistance as good as it could have been? No. But man, the bar on the show. Happy fanboy squeeing. That's where I'm at.
Just hoping we can maintain the wave through the season finale and into season 2, which I'm really happy we're getting, honestly.
I hope it really happens.
Me too. With that being said, thank you everyone for listening, and we'll plan to all meet up next week and dive into episode 7. If you haven't already, feel free to join the Cinema Club Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/the Cinema Club TCC. That way you can see the upcoming films and television series that we will be covering on the Cinema Club so that you can be watching those ahead of time so you're ready to dive into the episodes when we post those. We also offer the Cinema Club podcast basically everywhere podcasts can be found, on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, or even on YouTube as well now. But if you are interested in potentially joining Nick or myself on the Cinema Club, you can definitely shoot us over an email at thecinemaclubtcc@gmail.com. And again, completely optional, but we are completely supported by you, our listeners. So if you are loving the show and if you are feeling generous, please consider clicking the support button on our website. You can check our website out at podcasters.spotify.com/pod/show/the Cinema Club. Thank you so much, and we will catch up with you on the next one.